Hey everyone, it's Jessica Riffle in Wilmington, North Carolina, and I wanted to tell you about a phone call I had yesterday from a gentleman here in Wilmington that has been trying to sell his house now since February. His house has been listed with an agent since February, and basically he was calling me because he has terminated his listing agreement due to the fact that he was very, very unhappy with the listing agent. I spoke with him at length yesterday. He was calling me because he wants me to list the property now. And I spoke with him at length yesterday about the situation and about kind of what he was looking for in an agent, what his frustrations were, kind of what the problem was with the first agent, and also about the house, price and all those things. And it's kind of funny because when it boiled down to it, there was one thing that stood out that was his issue, I guess, with his listing agent, and it's such a simple thing. It's communication. His problem sort of with his listing agent really was the fact that he felt like there was zero communication. He told me that, weeks would go by without an email or without any communication or without hearing a phone call from his agent, and he had expressed to the agent that he would rather the agent call him with nothing to tell him and call him to say, look, I'm calling just to touch base. I have no updates for you. We've had no activity on the house, nothing yet. Still working hard, trying to sell it, but don't really have anything to tell you. Just wanted to call and touch base. He would rather that agent have done that than just call him, than not call him at all. And this is a really common occurrence, I guess, that you hear from people that have sold houses in the past or are selling that are frustrated. And it's that exact thing that I think sometimes as agents, when you are working hard to sell a house, sometimes agents feel like, they don't want to call the seller to tell them that they don't have anything to tell them. And unfortunately what happens is that's the worst thing to do, because as a seller, usually your home is your primary investment or your largest investment that you have. And so, it's a very important process, and that communication is very, very important, even if you have nothing to tell the seller. So as an agent, it's so much better to call and touch base and say, I have nothing to tell you, than to not call at all. And this literally was his single biggest issue with the agent that he had. And also the other thing was the fact that he really is in a situation, moving situation, has got to get the house sold and sold in a short time period. Obviously, that hasn't happened yet, and now we've really got to work hard to figure out what we're going to do to get it sold for him. But the other thing was that he, was going to the agent saying, hey, should we do a price reduction? It's not moving. And the agent was saying, let's give it a little more time. Your agent should be keeping up with the market activity in your area or your neighborhood and coming to you if it's time to do a price reduction. And as a seller, hopefully you shouldn't have to go to your agent to say, I've got to get this thing sold. Should we do a price reduction? And for the agent to just say, no, let's just let it sit there a little longer. It doesn't make any sense. So it was just kind of an interesting conversation, and that communication really is key when selling your house, and that communication between the seller and the listing agent is so, so, so important. So these are my thoughts. If you disagree or have any comments, please feel free to email me at jessicariffle@seacoastrealty.com. Thanks so much for listening. I hope everyone has a wonderful day.